Today, we're going to talk about education in the African region. First of all, we would like to define education. So, education is defined as the act or process of imparting general knowledge, developing the powers of reasoning and judgment, as well as preparing oneself or others for mature life. Some general facts about the African region are: population in 2012 was about 913 million people. Life expectancy was about 58 years. 44% of the people live below the international poverty line of $1.25 per day. 63% of the people have access to improved or adequate water sources. 25 million people are currently living with AIDS.
Education is fundamental for sustainable development. It is the most powerful driver regarding evolution of society and is one of the strongest instruments for reducing the poverty. When the population within a nation is educated and well prepared, they definitely carve ways to develop as a self-sufficient country. An economically not dependent society is the stepping stone to combine the productivity that leads to an economic growth. Kofi Annan, a former UN Secretary General, once said, "For everyone, everywhere, literacy is a basic human right." The lack of education should be of global concern, especially in not so renamed countries.
Africa is one country full of material richness without any proper intelligence richness at all. Knowledge is the path of the ancient discoveries, is the key to the better not one single country, but the entire world. But the most important, knowledge represents a prosperous future, not only as an individual, but also as an entire country. Lack of education can be stated develop incredible proportions of analphabetism and progress into pure literacy. There are also gender disparities regarding this topic. Girls also spend a shorter time in school than boys. This disparity can be explained by the fact that girls often have to leave school to look after their families or because of early marriage.
The creation of several institutes has brought a decrease among the illiterates in the entire region. One of the main actors regarding this problematic could be the African region, Europe, and the United Nations. UNESCO relates education as the key of the African region. The Bureau, International Institute for Capacity Building in Africa, focuses on improving the quality of the teachers' education level in this region. Among several topics, this institution promotes literacy and well-developed education programs for the entire regional population. These programs include basic mathematics, literature, and AIDS awareness. More than the textbooks, the written information is not the basis of the problem, nor the education itself, but the teaching level. Educators are usually unqualified to teach properly. Due to this matter, children in rural areas obtain lower grades than metropolitan children. Without the proper education of the population, Africa will not develop a good base educational system for the improvement of the region itself.
One-fourth of children fail their end-of-school examination. There is a massive dropout rate. Students of all ages, out of 1.2 million of kids that enroll in first grade, less than half pass their school-leaving exam 11 years later. It is not a funding problem because South Africa spends 6% of the GDP on education but provisions. Books are hardly preserved for long-lasting use. In 1990, the adult literacy rate in all of Africa was 53%. In 2015, it is estimated to be 63%. In 1990, there were 133 million illiterate adults in sub-Saharan Africa, but by 2011 there were 182 million. More than 1 in 3 adults cannot read. 182 million adults are unable to read and write. 48 million youths are illiterate. 22% of primary-aged children are not in school. That makes 30 million primary-aged children who are not in school.
There is a movie called The First Grader that is about how the public education arrives to Africa and how discrimination is present in some cases. The film is based on the true story of Kimani Maruch, a Kenyan farmer who enrolled in elementary school at the age of 84, following the Kenyan government announcement of free universal primary education in 2003.
Gender parity in education is a long way from being attained in sub-Saharan Africa, where 54% of children not in school are girls and over 60% of the literate population are women. This observation applies to both female pupils and female teachers. Educational problems are not only a matter of the students but also the teaching skills. Teachers should be prepared to implement according to the correct level. Obviously, it is not expected to have great students when teachers are not capable of teach correctly. We think that creating a campaign in which we could focus more in the implementation of basic education for all ages with no restrictions, as well as a campaign promoting awareness of AIDS in this region.